Malena is a 2000 erotic comedy drama film directed and written by Giuseppe Tornatore from a story by Luciano Vincenzoni. It stars Monica Bellucci and Giuseppe Sulfaro. The film won the Grand Prix at the 2001 Cabourg Film Festival. At the 73rd Academy Awards, the film was nominated for Best Cinematography and Best Original Score. Renato, a teenage kid from the small Sicilian hamlet of Castelcudo, witnesses three key incidents on June 10, 1940. Italy enters World War II. He receives a new bike, and he first sees Malena, the most attractive and sensual young woman in town. Her husband is serving in the armed services in Africa, battling the British, and she lives alone. Because of her appearance and her status as a loner, all of the town's males lust after her, while its women despise her. She maintains an eye on her elderly father, who lives alone, until he receives an anonymous note slandering her and rejects her. Renato develops a crush on Malena, spying on her in her home and following her around when she goes. He snatches some of her panties from the clothesline to feed his sensual fantasies. When his parents discover it in his room, they grow enraged and attempt to break him of his obsession. Malena's sadness is compounded when she learns that her spouse has been killed. Rumors circulate about her, which she unwisely supports by allowing an unmarried Air Force officer to pay her a visit after dark. When she is accused and placed on trial, the cop gives testimony claiming that he was only a passing acquaintance. The treachery is painful, but Malena remains silent. Her lawyer pays her a visit after her acquittal and rapes her. Renato decides to be Malena's defender, enlisting the help of God and his saints to keep an eye on her and carrying out small acts of vengeance against her foes. He has no notion that his feelings about her are no better than the townspeople's, and he has no concept how Malena feels. Meanwhile, the conflict has spread to Sicily, and the Allies attack the village, killing her father. She descends into prostitution now that she is impoverished and universally despised, with no one wanting to give her a job. The residents prefer to think of her as a whore rather than a threatening widow. Renato passes out when Nazi forces capture the town and he sees his idol with two German soldiers. His mother believes he is possessed by demons and brings him to a priest for exorcism, but his more practical father takes him to a prostitute in town. Malena, he fantasizes, is the prostitute initiating him. The Germans leave, and jubilant celebrations greet the arrival of American troops. Malena is dragged out of the hotel by the ladies, who pull off her clothes, beat her, and cut off her hair. She flees the unfriendly town to avoid further persecution. Nino, her husband, returns a few days later looking for her after surviving as a prisoner of war but losing an arm. Nobody wants to advise him how to find his wife because his house has been taken over by displaced people. Renato writes him an anonymous note in which she expresses her love for him but states that she has faced hardships and has relocated to Messina. Nino and Malena return a year later and are seen wandering through town. Women have noticed that she has become more matronly and plain. They recognize that she is no longer a threat, even though she is still attractive. As a result, people treat her with more respect. When she goes to the market, the women who beat her greet her with a good morning and refer to her as Madam. Renato runs to pick up some fruit that has fallen from her purse as she walks home. He bids her success, and she responds with an enigmatic half-smile, the only time they've ever spoken or looked each other in the eyes. Renato, now in his 80s, reflects on the many women he has known and loved, and how he has forgotten them all. Malena is the single person he will never forget.